Mayor, welcome back to our program here. How do you expect the border is going to change with the second Trump administration?
Well, actually, we're not 100% sure what's going to happen. My understanding is that it's going to be a little bit tougher for asylum seekers and for us, my biggest concern is the attack right now on NGOs and whether we're going to be funded to assist the federal government. Our position has always been it's not our business, but we assist to keep our residents safe, and we have done very well. So if things stay the way they are, we're okay. I mean, here in McAllen, we've been okay for a long time. However, it depends what's going to happen with a new administration.
I remember speaking to you last year, and you were saying that there's no line item in the budget for any type of immigration services at all. But if NGOs get shut down or required not to work with undocumented migrants, what kind of burden does that put on the city, if at all?
Well, actually, it is a burden that we've had before, even before my time. And of course, there's no line item for us here in the city of McAllen or probably any other city because immigration is not within our realm. When we deal with water, sewer, police protection. So if that were to happen, and I hope it doesn't, I'm not sure what we're gonna do. But I know that whenever we have the issue with, Border Patrol comes and drops off the asylum seekers, and we assist, and everything has been well. But because we've also had the funding now from the federal government and federal government funding the NGOs, if that doesn't happen, well, we hope then that it's a lot harder and it might not sound good, but it's a lot harder for the asylum seekers to come in because then it really would be a burden in our community. And even though right now we don't, it's not necessarily a burden. It can very easily and quickly become.
And where does Border Patrol drop people off? They're at the bus station or the Catholic Charities or different places, or where?
At Catholic Charities, which is right by the bus station.
Yeah.
So that's why I tell people a lot of the times, go find me an immigrant in McAllen. You're not going to find one because everything is so orderly. They get dropped off, they get processed, and they're out as soon as they can be.
Mayor, President-elect Trump has promised a mass deportation. How would that impact McAllen?
I don't think it would impact us much because a lot of the times what people don't understand is that immigrants, legal or illegal, they pass through the southern border. They don't. Of course, I'm sure we have some here, but generally they want to go up to whether they get higher paying jobs. I think if it were to happen, I think we're going to have issues with our economy because at the very end, look, I've always said it. There's a lot of people that can be very productive, and we should try to help them come here and produce for us and assist their families. Now, if it's people that have issues, criminal or otherwise, then we definitely don't want that. But there's a lot of people that I know can help us, that can help our economy stay strong.
And everything I'm hearing is that the next Trump administration wants to start with the people with criminal backgrounds. And that wouldn't impact the economy that much, I would presume. But other folks you think really will impact the economy if everyone else is rounded up?
I think it will. I think, for example, you have people that are productive, that are workers right now that companies need to produce or to help them in whatever capacity.
Yeah.
That will affect a lot of the times. And I've said it before that the work ethic of the American people is not what it used to be. And a lot of the times that these immigrants uh, are the ones that assist. And I've seen it over and over again.
Have you shared that at all with Republican leaders with the White House?
I've shared it with everybody.
What's the reaction from them?
Well, I think a lot of the times when we talk politics, everybody wants to be tough on immigration, and I agree we should be. But I have also always said that we need immigrants, that we need people to come and support their families and assist our economy.
Up the river there in Stark County, the state has offered President-elect Trump that ranch to build a deportation center for migrants. Any talk of building a new facility like that in or around McAllen?
Not around this area.
Let me switch gears on the another border issue since you guys are right there on it. The president-elect has already threatened a 25% tariff on goods from Mexico, from China, and from Canada. How's that going to impact cross-border trade there at the bridges?
Well, actually, that's something that's kind of concerning us a little bit. Our economy, especially post COVID, has been tremendous. And a lot of it has to do with importing and exporting. If it were to be reduced, it won't necessarily just affect here because a lot of the goods are shipped out of here, south and north. So it's going to affect everybody. We've done a study. Actually, no, the state of Texas did a study of how the traffic flows through the Rio Grande Valley. Within a couple of days, trucks that pass through here are throughout the whole United States. They're delivering, they're doing whatever they need to do and come back. So I know that if things were to slow down, it won't just slow down the Rio Grande Valley. It'll slow down, I think, the whole economy.
There's a new administration in Mexico. There's a new administration across the river there in Tamaulipas as well. Do you expect though that these threats are going to become reality, or do you think this is just kind of floating this balloon to see if he can get exact some change out of these countries?
Well, we do need some change. We do need some agreements with the different countries, but I'm not sure. I couldn't tell whether it's
Okay,
something that's going to happen or is it just uh a method to not strong arm but to convince somebody else.
sure. Because Donald Trump got reelected, Texas leaders here say they're going to pare back the investment at the border with the Department of Public Safety. Last time I was there, I was in McAllen, and DPS was filling up hotels and restaurants. If the state pares back some of these troopers there in the valley, how's that going to impact the local economy?
I think it will not much because we are blessed that we are very strong. I know that Operation Lone Star infused a lot of money in the area, McAllen and throughout. And of course, it was beneficial. So while some would argue that they were just spending money, well, it was being spent here in McAllen and the surrounding areas. And now we get into the issue of public safety. We came in last year as the third safest city in the country. So did that have any role in it? I'm not sure. But to us, it was beneficial.
But you haven't heard from hotel owners and restaurant owners that, hey, if this happens, that we're going to see the Tuesday night buffet service or whatever else slow down.
I think we're in the process of hopefully getting more hotels because they sell out the route. I
Yeah.
think we'll do fine.
Looking at 2025, biggest challenges, biggest opportunities, what do you think they are?
For McAllen, I think it's still the economy. We keep on growing, we keep on building. We've established a great relationship with Mexico and Mexican investors. Or we came in as the most affordable city in the whole United States again. And a lot of it, I believe, is because investors still believe in McAllen. They come invest and develop, and there's an inventory of homes, whereas other areas there isn't. So
Yeah.
whenever there's an inventory, you keep prices lower, and that's exactly what's going on. We keep on booming now, and that's residential, but they're also commercial. The more homes, the more people, the more demand for business. And I hope it keeps on going like this for a while.
Let me ask you about the November election. Republicans did very well there in South Texas back on November the 5th. They flipped a number of counties from blue to red, first time in 20 years. Why do you think residents in the valley had so much support this time for Donald Trump?
Well, actually, I think like what it had to do with, I think a lot of it had to do with immigration. And I said it way before that it was going to be a very important role in this election. And the pictures you see on TV, the videos of sometimes different areas just being trampled in a sense, even though it's not here, people see it as, hey, that's affecting all of us. And in reality, it does. I think that's one of the reasons that what happened. I think they kind of felt that President Biden was not hard enough on immigration, and probably Trump could be.
But you just mentioned that obviously we need immigrants for a lot of different sectors in the economy, but people along the border that were they just tired of seeing a number of undocumented people come across over the last 4 years? You think that was one of the drivers?
Well, I think it was, but and it was not necessarily here, but in different areas. When you see Boys and Eagle Pass, Del Rio, all those areas, even though it's not here, we did have an issue maybe in 2021, 2020. Even though we don't have the issue, people still remember and still see the possibility of what's going on in other areas
Mhm.
come back here. And we definitely don't want that.
The legislative session begins here soon. What do you hope lawmakers will focus on?
Well, I really hope they focus a lot on transportation issues. I know that They keep on investing throughout, and they're finally looking more into South Texas, realizing the economic impact that we here at the Rio Grande Valley have. It's a tremendous amount of economic impact that we have. We are of course, in South Texas. If we were to uh, quantify, well, we have quantified, and it's billions and billions and billions and
Yeah.
billions of dollars that pass through here and that we generate. But unfortunately, and I've said it before, it was all Democrat, and so there was no competition. We have competition now. So both parties now, Republicans and Democrats, have to look down at us and compete for us, whereas before they didn't have to.
And as far as the transportation priorities, what are some of the transportation priorities that state lawmakers could focus on when they return to Austin in January?
Look, to me, one of the most important things here is having a loop around Hidalgo County. It's in the planning stages, but of course, funding is always an issue, and we need to speed that up. I've always said a population in excess of a million, yet we don't even have a loop. You look at, for example, Victoria, which is pretty small, and they have a loop. And that's one of the things I've said that we were kind of ignored before, and we shouldn't anymore. So that's my biggest priority.
What would a loop there in the valley do? Just expand the growth further north?
It will expand to the north, but it's not just necessarily that. For our purposes, we have two bridges, the Hidalgo McAllen Bridge and the Alsalduas Bridge. Once we connect, traffic can flow a lot faster and they don't have to go through our cities. That's one thing. It will also decongest some of the traffic. Everybody in the whole area has to go through I-2 or I-69. Every single vehicle going up. So there's a lot of congestion because of that. If we had a loop, we would get rid of all that.
And where do you guys stand there on the TxDOT wish list? Any idea?
We're dealing right now with our EMA, I know RMA, and I know TxDOT. Everybody's trying to work, but my thing is speed it up, and that's what I think. There's sufficient funding to start some parts, and we're lacking funding on some others. But I think, and that's why I say that hopefully this legislative session we can do pretty good.
And Mayor, what would a loop cost to put a loop in there in the valley?
I don't even remember, but I know we have the eastern side is already funded. The southern side is pretty much funded. The western side is where we're still looking at some funding.
And this has been talked about off and on for a number of years, though. Do you think it'll ever become a reality?
I know it's going to become a reality. When I moved down to McAllen 30 years ago, there we had no Lana Loop, which wasn't a loop, it was a street. Never became a loop. So even if it became a loop now, it's way in the south. It's way past. No, what we're talking about is a loop that will go through from around Donna to La Jolla and then connect on top of Edinburgh. That would be a loop. That would be very beneficial.
Mayor, it's good to see you again. Thank you for the time.
You bet. Anytime.